Hey everyone, welcome back to the live stream. If you are here live, drop in the comments where you are watching today's live stream from. If you are watching on the replay, hit me up with hashtag replay so I know who is coming in from our replay crew. Today we're going to be talking about some of the top questions that are going on. I'm going to be talking about some sales going on, talking about CPC prep. We've got a little under 2 months now for anyone to take the CPC exam or any AAPC exams with your without the 2026 code changes, we'll say. And then we'll talk about content and stuff I have planned, and of course do a lot of Q&A. As always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a live stream, and share this with your friends. But let's go ahead and we will get started with today's live stream. Hey everyone, welcome back to the live stream. Today's live stream is sponsored by Preppy. If you are looking for an affordable, on-demand medical coding training that works within your budget, you may be the perfect candidate for Preppy. Find out more on how to get started in this career and enroll with Preppy at my free career masterclass at medicalcodingmasterclass.com. So hey everyone, glad to see you all in here today. I am excited. I got some cool stuff coming up. I'm going to move my TikTok, people. I don't like that angle that you guys are looking at me from. Okay. Well, maybe I should just work on Victoria a little bit more. I need a haircut like nobody's business. And look at this. Thursday, I'm finally going to get my hair trimmed. I am like a biannual haircut person, so I get my hair cut like twice a year. And my friend Cassie is going to be doing my pink ombre again, and I'm really excited to bring back the pink ombre look. Why do I look like there's a huge shadow on this side? Where are my extra lights? Hold on one sec, you guys. I need to get some more lights in here. All right. I can't be coming in here looking all regular. That's not good. We gotta have that good lighting going. It still looks dark. In any case, can you guys believe this? Black Friday sales have already started on the AAPC. I want to show you guys this. Because I logged on the website today and I'm like, it's not even close yet, you guys. We're starting Black Friday on November 1 now. Remember when Black Friday actually happened on the Friday after Thanksgiving? That still look dark. See, this side is here. That's it. You know, picky. In any case, we have got friends coming in from New York City. You're voting today like I am in New York City, right? You guys are good. I think it's only a few states that are voting today. We have a comment here from Brianna Laws saying, I just passed my CPMA last weekend. Congratulations. Guys, I don't know what is going on. Like, all of a sudden, the past couple months, my eyesight for like closey-uppy stuff kind of took a dive. But congratulations on your CPMA. That is a difficult exam. The CPMA is still a rough one. I'm looking at getting some more review stuff done for like little YouTube-y stuff. But yeah, I have to take another look at what's going on with the CPMA as of lately. Question coming in from Jamea Wilson. I wanted to ask a question pertaining to the CRC review course. Will you offer a discount code again in November? And also, will you update the CRC every year? Yes. So originally I was going to sell different versions of that, but the CRC has actually been updated. It was reviewed to make sure that there were no code changes or policy changes from 2025 to 2026. And actually, there weren't any. We didn't find anything that impacted. So it has been reviewed to make sure that everything that is currently in there is still accurate, and it still is. So as far as a discount, yes, you can get a discount on contempocoding.com. So I will give you, it's a special discount code just for people that are coming in for live streams now, because I want to track who's coming into the live streams and give them a little extra something, because I appreciate you guys coming in here and being live or watching on the replay. So you can get a pretty decent discount right now on the CPC review. And that code is also good for the CRC class that I have as well. So you can use that code. I have a question about which one is best for 2025 to learn a medical coding course, which specialists. If you're talking about which course to take, like which company you should go with, if you're talking about educational institutions, there's a lot of good ones out there, and it kind of depends on your budget and what you are particularly looking for in a course. If you have a couple $1,000s budget, Preppy is a really good on-demand training program. It's affordable, it's budget friendly. They include ebooks that you can use for your studies. If you have, you might have something near you where you can get an employer discount, that maybe they have a certain school or program that they'll give you credits for or reimburse you for. You might have a tech school near you that you can get some good training from. So yeah, it really depends. I think there's obviously, if you want more out of a program, that's going to cost more. Even if you go with the AAPC, which is a good option, if you want an instructor-led program, that's going to cost you more, because they have to cover the cost of paying for an instructor. They have to cover the cost of, teachers' assistants that maybe you're answering questions. So the more you want out of a program, the more you're going to have to pay. If you want something that's in person, that's probably going to cost more than something that's on demand. But there's lots of great training options. If you're interested in self-study, I do have videos I can even show you on the channel where I talk about some of the self-study options. The book that I like for self-study is called Step-by-Step Medical Coding. I don't think the 2026 one is out yet, but you can purchase the 2025 versions. Let me get into my channel real quick. So one of the cool things with, get out of there. Why is the news playing? We don't need to look at that depressing crap right now. Okay, so one of the things that not a lot of people know about with my YouTube channel is you can search for something. And sometimes the little search thing, though, is hidden, and that's why people get a little confused. So if I'm over here in the Contempo Coding channel, I have a lot of some other stuff installed for like analytics and stuff, but there is over here a little magnifying glass. So if you want to find a video, for example, on self-study or self-study, oh my gosh, on self-study, or you're looking to see if I made a video on a particular credential, you can search for that here. So I do have videos where I talk about self-study resources. They do have the dates on them. So I usually do an updated self-study video every year, just so that it pops up a little bit more in the algorithm. So look for the one that's the most current, and you can find those resources there. But yeah, there's lots of great options. I did see a question come through on TikTok about emailing me. You don't want to email me, because I'm going to be very honest, I'm terrible at getting back to people. I am a huge flake. I am the biggest flake you will ever meet. I will get an email from someone and totally have intentions of answering it, and then just not do it. So if you're looking for like medical coding questions, tutoring, that's not something I answer. I have YouTube-y stuff to do, and I don't do a lot of email stuff. But I know Shannon Benet on LinkedIn is still doing tutoring. I don't know how far out she's booked right now, though. I have a question regarding AAPC timeframe, and I've emailed the AAPC with no response to date. I don't know what that question is. Yeah, my comments and questions are popping off, so I might be able to help you. If the question is in regards to when the exam switches over, the exam switches over on January 1. But if you're not getting a response from the AAPC, I really can't be of assistance there, because I can't. I'm not AAPC customer service, so my say doesn't really have any impact on it. I mean, I can tell you what I feel like it might be, but if it's like a question about an exam or something, I can't give you a definitive on that, unfortunately. So sorry. I'm streaming on TikTok on my phone at the same time I'm doing the Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram on here. So it's a lot from my perspective to toggle. We have a question here that says, hi, I'm watching from Cape Town, South Africa. Can non-US citizens do medical coding courses offered by Preppy? I think Preppy generally is only available to those located within the United States. I would check if you're located in Africa, there might be other programs available. You might be able to get something from the AAPC. I think they still sell to people located outside, but you do have to be very careful, because if you're looking to get into medical coding and you're from another country, typically there's a huge HIPAA risk when they offshore medical coding. So when they have people from other countries do medical coding, they typically only want to do it because there's going to be a huge cost savings. Like, they only want to do it if they can pay you significantly less. Otherwise, they just hire domestic coders here in the United States. Less people are likely to do that right now because there's been a lot of lawsuits where there's been data leaks from across national borders. And there have been substantial penalties to the organizations that have sustained those leaks. So if you're looking to do medical coding and you're located outside the United States, I just want you to understand that you're not going to make what medical coders in the United States would make. The exams, someone says, sorry, I just hopped on. What do you mean the exam switches over in January? So currently we have the medical coding 2025, right? So the codes for ICD-10-CM already changed on October 1. Those codes, though, do not appear on the certification exams until January 1. We'll also see the changes for the code updates for CPT and HCPCS on January 1 in the exam. So even though we've already switched over to 2026 ICD-10-CM, as far as the AAPC is concerned, you will not see those new codes or the new codes for CPT or HCPCS in the exam until January 1 of 2026. So in 2026, you can still use your 2025 books, or you can use the 2026 books. With the AAPC, they allow you to use either the current calendar year books or one calendar year prior for the exam. So they're not changing the structure of the exam or the time of the exam. They're not changing the how many questions they're going to ask you on midterm. They're not changing how many questions there are on E&M. They're not making the exam more difficult. There's been no statement that they're adding fill in the blanks for 2026. It is just they're going to go through that whole exam bank that they have, and they're going to go, okay, did any of these codes for 2025 change in 2026? Were any of the codes in the exam bank deleted or extended? Maybe we need an additional character, or maybe there's a new code and we should use that new code for this question instead. And they're just going to update what needs to be updated in the exam bank. So for the CPC exam, it's a huge exam bank. They have like over 1,000 questions in this exam bank, and you're randomized 100 of them. And they'll make sure that you're getting, 3 med-term and 3 anatomy. And I think it's 7 E&M and 7, integumentary surgery questions, et cetera, et cetera. So that is what's happening. So the exam, the codes on the exam will be updated on January 1, 2026. I have a question here. Is there a free version of online codes we can look up? You can usually find ICD-10-CM codes because they are free use. So ICD-10-CM is free use. You can find them on like ICD-10data.com. CPT is licensed. So this is owned by the American Medical Association. So you can't, for example, photocopy a CPT book and sell it. You can't get free access to the CPT codes because the AMA makes a ton of money licensing the code set that we are federally required to use. Because of that, there is no free search available. There's some tools that you could probably sign up for to use for free for a limited time. I know I have a code. Let me actually bring it up for you guys right now. I know Select Coder has free trials, and Codify has free trials. So there might be lookup tools that you can use for free for maybe 10 days or a week or two, but not long term. Raven asks, does the CRC have fill-in-the-blank case study questions? It does not. I'm actually going to make sure that I go to the AAPC website to verify that right now, though, because I feel like I would have seen I would have seen if there's a change. Ooh, hold on one second. Oh, you know what? Was I doing some stuff here with? There we go. So for those of you on TikTok, I am screen sharing right now, so you won't be able to see this. It's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. People can see it. I might have to do a long stream today. There's a lot of questions coming, and this is what happens when I schedule streams ahead of time. Let's see. So if we're ever curious about like what is on this exam, like how many questions of these different categories are they going to ask, what you can do is, and we'll start with the CRC because that's what we're being asked about. If we go to the CRC under the certifications on the AAPC website, and we go to the tab that says taking the exam. So under taking the exam, that's when they'll start giving us the breakdown. So it'll tell us right here, you have 4 hours to finish the exam. It is 100 multiple choice questions. So if that ever changes, they're going to change it on the website for sure. So 400 multiple choice, 4 hours, 100 multiple choice questions. I probably gave someone a heart attack right there. And if we scroll all the way down, it starts giving us the exam breakdowns. And it does this for all of the credentials, I think, except for maybe the specialty ones, like the surgical, the medical specialties. So it tells us for the CRC exam, there's going to be 15 questions on compliance, 30 on diagnosis coding, and then it breaks down specifically which diagnoses it's going to cover. Documentation improvement, 12 questions, pathophysiology, med-term anatomy, 5 questions. Purpose and use of risk adjustment models, 10 questions, quality of care, 3 questions, risk adjustment models, 15, and then 10 cases. And again, those are multiple choice. It does not say fill in the blank. Cases are basically longer reports. There's going to be maybe a longer amount of a record that you're going to have to look through and probably code ICD-10-CM and CPT and maybe even some HCPCS and add some modifiers and all that kind of stuff. So those are longer. Tiffany asked, didn't it used to be 300 questions for the CPC? Not that I'm aware of. I know it was 150 questions at one point and then 5 hours and 40 minutes long. But I don't know if it was if it was more than it was 300 at any point. It would have been more than 15 years ago because that's how long I've had my CPC. Hi, Victoria. What are your thoughts on the AAPC ELP program? I'm not quite sure what you mean by the ELP for someone that has 5 years of coding experience. I'll need you to clarify what you mean by ELP. Electronic learning, maybe something? I don't know what that. what that is. Yeah, 2018, it was not 300 questions. It was 150, and you had 5 hours, 40 minutes. They haven't changed, actually, the complexity of the exam or the difficulty of the exam. They've just kind of shifted it so that it's less of a examination of your like ability to sit for 5 hours and 40 minutes, a less of a test of endurance, I suppose. SB says, are they changing the exam to fill in the blank? There have been no announcements of that yet. They have indicated that they've thought about it and that they have considered, like, if it protects the integrity of the exam more, if it's something that employers are looking for more, they might make that switch, and have said that they do have the capability to do so. If you purchase some of these CPC practice stuff from the AAPC, there will be fill in the blanks to kind of prepare someone for the possibility that maybe at some point they might have them, but to date there's been no announcement, no indication, and I think if they were going to make that switch for 2026, they would have made that announcement by now. Oh, the Emerging Leaders Program, yes. Are they doing that right now? I thought they already got Emerging Leaders. Well, I guess they switch it every, what is it, 6 months? I thought it was a year, or is it every 6 months? I've known people who have done very well with Emerging Leaders. I think if you are someone who wants to be very involved with the AAPC and potentially become something like a subject matter expert or a content developer for the AAPC, it's a good step because a lot of the people that have been through the Emerging Leaders Program have gone on to be hired by AAPC in some very sophisticated roles. So yeah, I think it's a good program. I've talked to quite a few people who've gone through it. Talia's done it. Crystal's done it. Oh, I'm looking at her face right now and I can't think of what her name is. But yeah, I've known quite a few people who've done quite well with going through the Emerging Leaders Program with the AAPC. I'm getting pummeled, you guys. I don't know how long it's been since I've had this many people. Does it show? Where's my thingy? Okay. I don't think this is like the most people I've had, but this is the most questions that have been coming in a while. Let me check my Instagram people because I don't want to. I don't know. Let's see. I don't want to deprive my Instagram friends. I have a comment here that says, I'm currently working on a company all because of you medical coding introduction videos. After I cracked the CPC, I just want to thank you. Awesome. Well, congrats on not only passing your CPC, but getting a job. Let's go back over here. I have a question that says, I need a tutor so bad. So I personally do not tutor, but I have a couple of resources. Let me bring up the one lady that I know. Like I don't want to just throw you guys at people unless I've vetted them. And I know there's one that I know is a good tutor. And then I know of a couple kind of general resources as far as tutoring. So the person that I know that does tutoring is Shannon, and she's great. So if you can look her up on LinkedIn, just screenshot this, take a photo. If you're on TikTok, her name is Shannon Bennett, Bennett. She's great. Actually, let me, but I know how to do this because I'm super professional and I know how to do things. No, maybe I do. Oh yeah, there it is. Flip the camera. Okay, I can show you guys on the. So Shannon, I know she does tutoring, and I know she's a good tutor. So I can say definitely that she is good. As far as her availability right now, that I'm not sure about. You can also go to tutors.com, and you can find tutors that way. There is also another tutoring website that is called wyzant.com, Wyzant. And you can search for tutors there as well. Question says, would I recommend self-study? I know some people that swear by self-study. They're like, don't spend money on this for a course. You don't have to. You can self-study. I did it. It's amazing. Here's how you do it. And I have videos on self-study. I tell everyone, get the code books, get the step-by-step medical coding textbook and workbook, buy some practice exams. Self-study, I will tell you, though, is not free or cheap. It is still expensive. Because till you buy the textbook and the workbooks, that's probably $150, $200. The codes books themselves are $300. Membership to the AAPC is $222. The exam for the AAPC CPC exam is $400 or $500, depending on how many attempts you want. If you want practice exams, that's a couple $100 study guides. Like, it all adds up. And so that can be very expensive. So self-study does not mean that you can do it for free. Although, oh my God, I keep forgetting to tell you guys. Hold up. I gotta show you guys this. The light in my eyes is like right now. Okay. I found out something really cool, and this might be cool for those of you that are interested in self-study. Okay. So I was over in my library the other day, and I was searching around for books, right? Okay, cool. Check this out. And I happened to go and type in step-by-step medical coding, and it just so happens that step-by-step medical coding, the book that you can learn medical coding with, is available in my local library. They have a 2025 edition of the Buck step-by-step medical coding book. Now, I checked and they don't have the code books themselves, but your library might. So check your local library and search to see if they have code books, search to see if they have the step-by-step medical coding books, because mine does. So if I was someone who had like no money, I could go and pick up at least this book and go, what is this about? Let me take a look. Let me see what this medical coding teaching is like. Even if you're like, this is actually the book that they use in Preppy. They send you an ebook version though. So if you're like, let me get a little sneaky peeky, borrow it from your library and see what's in the curriculum, see what's in this book, scan it up a little bit and see like, is this something I kind of want to do or is it not? Great option. I personally have been considering, I need to talk to my library because I feel like maybe I should just like donate a set of code books every year. Like, wouldn't that be cool if people could go to their local library and pick up the materials and borrow them? If maybe they need books for the exam, or if maybe they just want to learn or borrow. Like, I feel like would be a cool thing to do. Is just donate but I don't know. Like, would the library like that? And how do I do that? But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Just donating a set of code books to my library. Any tips as far as guidelines to help before my exam? So we have two sets of guidelines. We have ICD-10-CM, we have CPT. That is, ICD-10-CM is easier to remember than CPT, or at least study, because it's all like, if I open up my ICD-10-CM book, I got my shiny 2026 one here. So if I open up my 2026 book, hold up. Oh my gosh, Victoria, where are they? Okay. So if I open up 2026 ICD-10-CM and I'm like, I want to study my guidelines, like they're all right there, right? So it's easier to kind of go through their guidelines. CPT guidelines are all over the place. They're at the front of chapters. They're in the middle of the books. There's all kinds of instructions. What I say about the guidelines is read through them and then just kind of read through them again. With guidelines, it's not about memorizing the guidelines. It's kind of about being familiar with them. So that way, if you're like, I don't remember all the ins and outs of coding sepsis, but I know there's guidelines regarding the codings for sepsis. So anytime I go through and I'm like, oh, here's a case and I'm coding sepsis, I'm like, I know there's a guideline for that. Let me flip over and check it out. yeah, that's kind of my tips as far as guidelines. I know some people have like here's my special secret methodology on how you highlight and underline and bubble. And, some people swear by that. Other people, they're like, yeah, well, now everything's highlighted and I don't know what is actually important or not. Liv is asking, do you know if they will switch to ICD-11? I don't think the United States is going to switch to ICD-11 anytime soon. I can confidently say not in the next 3 years, 5 years. But yeah, there's not any talk about switching to ICD-11 in any serious fashion, I would say right now, in the United States right now. So I don't foresee that happening for quite a while. I think the I-9 to I-10 transition took, oh my God, decades. It was a long time. Does the CPC also have questions on medical insurance like Medicare, Medicaid, etc.? It does touch on those a little bit. So if we go back to the AAPC website, to the AAPC website. Look, there's the Black Friday deals. We're not going to get distracted though, because we're answering questions about the CPC. So on the CPC, if we go to the AAPC website, we go to certifications, CPC, and then we go on the left-hand side to where it says taking the exam. And then we scroll all the way to the bottom. Scroll. It gives us that exam breakdown. So there's going to be questions on midterm anatomy. And then here's where you might see some stuff about insurance in particular, is in the compliance and regulatory. So that section is going to test you on your knowledge of compliance and regulations which pertain to services covered under Medicare Part A, B, and D, applying to payment policy, place of service reporting, fraud and abuse, NCCIS, NCDs, LCDs, HIPAA, ABNs, and RVUs. So yeah, there might be. There's not going to be a ton of them, but there may be some questions regarding differences between Medicare and Medicaid and commercial insurances and so forth. Danielle says, I have my CPC 2025 books. How soon should I test before they make you update using the 2026 book codes? So the exam itself changes to the 2026 codes on January 1. You can still use your 2025 books, though, through all of 2026. So with the AAPC, you can use either current calendar year books or one calendar year prior. You actually can't use the future books, though. So let's say I'm about to take my CPC exam, right? And I already have my 2026 ICD-10-CM book. You can't use that for the exam yet. You wouldn't want to because those new codes aren't going to appear on the exam until January, but you actually can't use the 2026 books until January 1. The AAPC outlines a current calendar year or one calendar year prior, so it's not 2026 yet. So you're actually not supposed to use this ICD-10-CM book for 2026 until January 1. I feel like I'm way too up high. There we go. That's better. More in-depth question. Any tips on coding diagnostic endoscopies for Lynch syndrome? I do not have that information available. Is there a bookstore to purchase the ICD-10-CM book? I like purchasing mine from the AAPC. And actually, let's see if they have a deal right now, because I know they've got their Black Friday stuff going. I don't know what kind of book. I know I saw something on here. Shop the deals on aapc.com. 50% off. That's training, practicum, webinar subscription plus $50 Amazon gift card. Dude, okay. So right now the AAPC is has started their Black Friday deals. And I saw this and I'm like, oh, $80 off Coder Specialty Guides 2025 edition. These books are expensive as heck. Oh my gosh. Okay, so like the dermatology print book is normally $400, and now it's on sale for $219 for 2025. You know how much they're going to change that from 2025 to 2026? Like that much, like that much. Yeah, oncology, hematology. Like I get that they're the print and the ebooks. So like maybe I guess the ebooks themselves are just $80 now, but gosh, that's expensive. Okay, so we can save $30 on 2025 code books. That's not gonna, I mean, we're only using 2025 for a couple more weeks, like $30. $30. Okay, hold on. So let's see how much books are right now. 2025 editions aren't that much cheaper than the 2026 editions right now. Okay, so the book bundle for the Pro Fee Coder right now from AAPC.com. So ICD-10-CM CPD HCPCS for 2026 is $244.99 if you're a member. Let's see what the bundle is right now. So if you want to do the print and the ebook version, it's $344.99. Now you can get cheaper versions. Sometimes, like I know Optum might sell them for cheaper. PMIC, Bucks. But if you're sitting for any certification exams with the AAPC, like the CPC exam, you can only use the AMA edition of the CPT book. Although you can use the ebooks for your exams. If you redeem your voucher, there's a little box that you can check to say, yeah, you want to use ebooks, and then they will just embed the ebooks in your exam platform. So when you log onto your exam, the ebooks will be there, and you can use them for the exam. I saw someone earlier say something about the CBCS. CBCS is not accepted by a lot of employers for medical coding positions. Billing maybe more so. But as far as coding positions, employers really want the CPC or like the CCS or CCSP from a HEMA. So you have to get an AAPC or a HEMA credential. The CBCS, there's only really particular regions where they might accept that for a coding position. RV says, how do we practice with ebooks? That is a tricky thing because if you're doing, if you have ebooks, so first off, you have to purchase the ebooks in order to practice with them. The ebooks that you can use for the exam, they'll embed in your exam platform, but that's the only place you'll have access to them if you choose to use ebooks for the exam. So if you want to use ebooks outside of that for practice, you have to purchase the ebooks. You can buy them on AAPC.com. The problem that we run into, though, is if you're using the practice exams with the AAPC, it does not allow you to click on any external links or external monitors or external tabs. So if you're looking at a question and then you go and click on your ebook, it will blank out that question so you can't see it anymore. So the only way really right now you would be able to practice using the ebooks while using an AAPC practice exam would be if you had an external tablet or an external phone or an external additional laptop that you could bring up the ebooks on to use them. Because otherwise, if you use it on the same computer system, it's going to block out the practice exams. You can still use paper practice exams. You can still use practice exams that are in any workbooks or study guides that you might have. But if you're using the official practice exams with the AAPC and you click off to go click on your ebook, it's going to blank that out. That is a functionality thing that they cannot change. Because otherwise, it's one of those things that if they would turn it on or off, if they turn it on, then you're going to be able to click on any kind of external link or any kind of external tab. And obviously, that's not something they can do. Hello, everyone. What is the best book for the CPC exam? If you're talking about code books, study guides, I would say all the official ones from the AAPC. So if you're looking to get the code books themselves, you have to get the AMA edition of the CPT book. I like the ones that are made by the AAPC because they also make the book and they put in illustrations and things and stuff that are really cool that might be helpful on the exam. As far as studying, I like the step-by-step medical coding books. As far as study guides, though, I like the official one from the AAPC. Although if you need a review class, I am currently offering a very nice discount to people who are currently on the live stream. Where's my, oh, there we go. So here is a code that you can use on my website at contempocoding.com. I have a CPC review. I also have one for the CRC, and I have an E&M training. You can get those all at a nice discount on my website at contempocoding.com by using this code. What is, I apologize. Did she answer you? Sorry, I need to know too. I don't see. Could you ask again? Because I'm not sure what the question was that you guys are asking about. I need to know too. Can I have, was it about the handwritten notes? So as far as handwritten notes, I always like to make sure that I go back to the AAPC website because sometimes they do change wording a little bit again. What's allowed in our books? So if we go to the AAPC website, what's allowed in our books? It says, hold on, I'm going to move this over. Oh, gosh. I have to bring it over in my other monitor because I can't read it from here. Books. Okay. Here we go. In print books, so if you're bringing your own physical print books, because we have the option now, you can either bring your own physical print books. You have to make sure that they're the official versions, that they're the right editions, that they're the right year, etc. And if you bring those and don't elect to just use the ebooks, which you can search more easily, it says in print books, and this is for the AAPC, if you're taking an exam with the NHA or a HEMA, different organizations, the rules might not apply, but this is with the AAPC. So if you're taking the CPC exam, for example, what is allowed in our books? In print books, handwritten notes are welcome in your coding books as long as they relate to daily coding activities. Please note that notes from the study guide, from the practice exams, or the exam itself are not permitted. So you can't write questions from your study guide into your book. You can't write practice exam questions in your book. You can't take paragraphs of information from your study guide and just write that in your book. You want to write some bullets in there, some abbreviations, some pieces of things you can, concepts, but you can't write you can't rewrite your study guide into your code books. And there is a lot of realty space to do that. Let me show you. So I know this might not apply to different publisher versions, but like the AAPC editions, they have spaces for notes. So let me see if I can pull one up here. Oh, here. Yeah. So there's like whole blank pages in the AAPC editions of the books. The HealthCon book actually has a lot of blank notes pages. So if you're like running out of space in your CPT and your ICD-10 CM book, start writing notes in your HealthCon book. The other caveat, though, is you can put tabs in your books. So, for example, you can write tabs in your books. You can have tabs in your books, rather. What you're not allowed to do is have sticky notes in your book. So you can't use sticky notes as tabs. You can't put sticky notes in your book, even if they are clear sticky notes. You cannot tape, paste, glue, or staple anything in your manual except for tabs that are clearly there because they are bookmarking a page. You can highlight, you can write, you can doodle, but you cannot put additional pages or taped things in. You can't put study guide questions in, practice exam questions, etc. Is this for certification? Yeah, that's just for the certification exams through the AAPC. NHA and HEMA might be different. Speaking of tabs, I haven't done it yet, but they did include the tabs, at least the ones I got from the AAPC included the tabs for the ICD-10-CM book this year. I will be doing an updated tab video. I got some new gear so I can shoot it a little bit better this year. And I'm also getting some tabs from Medical Coding Tabs Co. because that's the company that I've used before, and I really like them. Can you use the AAPC ICD-10 book for the exam? Yes, you can use any edition of ICD-10-CM you want for the exam as long as it is either the current calendar year or one calendar year prior. So the AAPC edition of the ICD-10-CM book is fine. The Bucks edition is fine. The AMA edition is fine. The PMIC edition is fine. The Decision Health still published them. Optum, any version that you want of the ICD-10-CM book. And the HCPCS book, you can use any publisher version. Again, current calendar year or one calendar year prior. The CPT book, though, it has to be the AMA edition. So for my preppy students, I would recommend using the ebooks the AAPC will embed in your exam for certification because they will give you, preppy gives you the PMIC version of the CPT book, which is a good addition, but not allowed for certification exam. Do exam vouchers expire? They are good for 1 year from the date of purchase. I'm like, Arby says, can we use 2024 books? You can use the 2024 books throughout the end of this year. Once we hit 2026, you cannot use them. So the AAPC states that you have to use either the current calendar year or one calendar year prior. That's on their website here too. So if I click on this book that says, what year's books should I use? I'm going to do it over here too, because I can read it better over here. All AAPC exams are based on the current calendar year's code sets. So it's strongly suggested that you use the current calendar years. AAPC exams are updated every January for the new code sets. You may choose to utilize books from the preceding calendar year, the current calendar year, or a combination of both. However, only one copy of each book is allowed. Books older than 1 year are not allowed for exam use. Upcoming year's books are not allowed for exam use. So you can still use the 2024 books, but only through the end of this year. So Preppy gives us books we can't use for the test. Not everyone wants to take the same test. Not everyone wants to take the CPC certification. Preppy is aimed towards making things budget friendly as possible and on demand. If you want to have everything included in the books, as far as books that you can use for the certification exam, you're going to have to pay extra for that. So with the AAPC, you can purchase their training program for the CPC, and that will cost you, I believe, $3,000. So self-paced max is currently $3,000. So even with the cost of an additional book with Preppy and the additional certification, like it's not gonna reach $3,000. So again, Preppy is an on-demand, affordable option. But not everyone wants to take the CPC. Some people want to take the CPCS, so they're not going to include extra stuff to rise that cost. If not everyone wants to take the certification, if some people just want to get into billing. But even so, if you're adding on the cost of the AAPC membership or the cost of the book, which you don't have to buy, you can opt to use the ebook, and they'll embed it in your exam. It still comes out less than that $3,000 from the AAPC. Yep, hold on. Thank you, Shanice, for becoming a new member. I'm shrinking all my stuff. My screen just shrunk, and I don't know what exactly I did. Hold up. Why is my screen so tiny? I don't know what I just did. I have a question. If I get CEUs before I test for my CPC exam, can I use them after I pass my exam? You cannot. If you've already obtained them, like say, for example, you do a webinar today and you don't pass your CPC exam for 2 more days, that webinar, you cannot use those CEUs. Now, if you've purchased something and not completed it, and then you complete it after you have tested for your CPC exam, then you can use them. So let's say, for example, I bought a subscription to the AAPC webinars, right? I think they're actually having a discount on it right now. So say I buy a subscription to AAPC's webinars and I've already purchased them, and then 2 days from now I pass my CPC. Well, after that, you can use those, you can go through those webinars and earn the CEUs for them. But anything that you've completed and earned CEUs for prior to passing your CPC exam, you cannot collect them afterwards. Is there any CPC practice book with answers? Because how can we know our answers are correct or not? If you buy the official ones from the AAPC, you can. They those are only available though if you purchase a course through them, which starts again at $3,000. One sec, see if I can figure out how to get my screen to go back the way I want it. I don't know how the heck. Here we go. I shrunk and then I didn't shrink. Maybe if I minimize and then maximize again. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. If you're referring to the step-by-step books, those do not have all of the answers. You will not find better training though for medical coding, but unless you're going through an instructor course, they don't, if you buy it independently, they don't give you all the answers. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of books that will give you answers that someone just generated with ChatGPT and they'll charge you for, but the quality of them is not going to be anything good. I personally feel it would be better to, if you're self-studying, buy the step-by-step books and have some of the answers omitted versus using something else. But yeah, let me show you what I mean. I can go into, I don't think they have the 2026 ready yet because we only just got the CPT 2026 books. Let's see here. I can show you my books. No, 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 no. So let's see here. If I go to my library, for the Buck step-by-step books, there is, I would say probably 70%, maybe 80% of the answers are in there. So if I go, here we go, to the end where it has checkbooks, toolbox answers. So like some of the exercises, they give you all the answers for, but then there's some of them they omit, some of the cases they omit, but there is a good amount of the answers included. I obviously don't want to scroll through the whole thing, but they do give a lot of the answers to the exercises at the end of the book. There's just small chunks of them that are missing. And you get additional questions if you purchase like the official AAPC study guide. I think they have 50 of them. Yeah, the AAPC study guide has an answer key. I was able to buy it without. So the study guides you can buy without buying the course, but if you want the full textbook, you have to buy a course. Let me show you. I'll be right back because I have some copies of them. Wait. Here we go. Actually, this might be it. That's COC. That's CPC from 2023. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to go grab something. Actually, I might not have a paper edition. So I don't have a paper edition of it. Let me show you guys. So when we talk about textbook versus study guide, so this is the medical coding CPC textbook. It is. Why is this? Oh, okay, hold on. There we go. So this is the CPC textbook. You can see it's a big, thick book. This you can only purchase if you have an official AAPC course. This is the 2023 edition. I don't have a license anymore, so I can't buy the new ones. This is 692 pages, okay? The CPC study guide is not that big. This is a practical application, so those are cases. The study guide is not that big. It's an abridged version, basically, of this, so it might be, the study guide's maybe like a smaller section of that. It might be like 200 pages versus 600 some. So anyone can purchase the study guides. But if you want the official textbook, you have to buy the official course through the AAPC, or I guess obtain one through an instructor that has a license. Is it mandatory to get AAPC membership to be eligible for certification exams? If yes, how long is it valid to go to the exams? Also, what about renewals of the same? So with the AAPC, you do have to be a member to sit for any of their certification exams. The current membership rate is $222. It's less if you're a student, but you can only get student rate one time until you become certified with the AAPC. You have to pay for membership dues every single year. This is not something weird that the AAPC does. If you are a physical therapist, an ultrasound tech, a nurse, you have to pay licensing fees every year to maintain your certifications, your licenses, whatever. So the AAPC does require you to pay membership dues every year. And if you have one credential or you have 15 credentials, you still only pay one membership due. You might have different CEU requirements, so different continuing education units that you have to get. If you have specialty certifications, you might have to get some CEUs that are designated towards that specialty. So for example, if you have a specialty certification in OBGYN, you might have to get a certain amount of continuing education units submitted that are for trainings that were specific to OBGYN. But yeah, you can't take any certifications with the AAPC without being a member. Now, as a member, you do get some cool perks that like other organizations, HEMA, don't include. One of them is, as an AAPC member, you get a magazine every year. There's a quiz attached to the magazine that you can complete, and you will get one CEU for it. The AAPC also gives other free CEU courses. There's 4 every year. They used to be called quarterly, but sometimes they wouldn't get them out quite in every quarter. So now it's just 4 yearly. So yeah, a lot of the CEUs you need, you can get this through the magazine. You can get it through the free quarterly. They gave us like an AI and medical coding course not too long ago. You get lots of membership discounts. You even get a membership savings. So you can get discounts for pizza and laundry and hotel discounts, tickets to theme parks, all kinds of stuff. One thing I'll also say that I don't think gets advertised a lot is that if you're a student with like an independent instructor, like you're hired, I think AMCI might, if you go through like, what is her name, Dana, or any of the independent instructors. I don't think CCO does because they don't have a license anymore. But some of the independent instructors can get discounts for their students for HealthCon. So there's like a steep discount that you can purchase HealthCon registration for like, I think a couple $100. But that's only while you're a student enrolled with an independent instructor. Hey Don says, I have my CPC. I'm currently a charge master coordinator. What do you know about RCMS certification. Not a whole lot other than what's available on the website. I haven't sat for it myself, but I'm losing my website stuff here. Not a lot other than what's available on the website, but we can go over that. I'll do it over here too, because again, I can see it better on this monitor. AAPC certifications, but that's their new revenue cycle management one. And they just did one for value-based care recently as well. So if we go to certifications, view all certifications, is that the one that they have one for like Saudi Arabia or something too? I feel like it is. RCMS. I just passed it. I know I did. There it is. Okay. So RCMS, if I remember correctly, this is the one where you have to have your PCS book as well. Because if we look at the list of the approved code books, it's the CPT book, ICD-10-CM, and then ICD-10 PCS, as well as the HCPCS book. So this, oh, look, there's Maddie. So handsome. Taking the exam. Just getting distracted by Maddie Calcoder. What to expect on day one. Okay, so the exam for the RCMS is 135 multiple choice questions. You're allowed those 4 code books. Where the heck is, where's my listing of my breakdown? I thought they used to, oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. I'm sorry. I'm looking at stuff. I'm moving stuff. We're moving and shaking. Victoria has ADHD. There we go. Okay. Oh. Okay, compliance is 11 questions. Operations is 19. Patient access is 14. Process improvement is 23 questions. Reporting is 21 questions. Revenue cycle is 37 questions, and then 10 cases. What I'm curious about, though, is did they make a certification study guide for this one yet? I don't know that they did, because I remember this one. I remember this one or the value-based care one, where they don't yet have a study guide. Oh, they do have a course. Let's see if it's available yet. Okay, so the RCMS course is available. $1,650 for the complete bundle. Includes online self-paced instructing course, 2 exam course attempts, and the practice exam, which isn't terrible. But I'm just like, wait, do they include a textbook or not? I feel like they don't have a study guide for this one yet. Where's our shop? I'm gonna look. Shop, books, study guides, specialty guides, reference guides, partners. There we go. Study guides. I feel like the RCMS doesn't have one yet. Oh, they do. Okay, 25 RCMS study guide. You can buy the study guide. That's what I would do, because this is a new credential. Like I would not sit down for this without getting a study guide first. Why is it not clicking? Oh, there we go. So the study guide is $100 for members. You can do the study guide ebook and practice exam for $649.95. Yeah, I think I don't know if they got one yet for the value-based care thing, though. I've got you guys right in front of my monitor. Value-based care. I don't see a value-based care study guide, though, yet. Good afternoon to you too, NC worker. Jay's asking, can I take my exam in January, February 2026 with my 2025 AAPC book? Yes. So AAPC allows you to take your exams with either the current calendar year or 1 calendar year prior. So yeah, in 2026, you can still use your 2025 books. The AAPC, they're like us. They want to have to do as little as possible, right? So they have this big exam bank full of CPC exam questions, and it's like 1,000 some odd questions. And they're not going to write a million new questions just because they're like, hey, we got a couple hundred new codes. Like, let's write a ton of questions specific to these new codes. They're not going to do that. They might write one or two. What they're going to do is they're going to go through their existing exam bank and go, do we actually have to change any of these? Just figure out the ones that we have to change. And then if there was a code that's updated or deleted or maps to something else now, we'll change those. So the chance that there's going to be an updated question on the exam that is going to have a new code on it, and you're going to have an old book and not be able to figure it out is like, it's like super minuscule. And the chances of that then making or breaking you not passing the exam again, tiny, tiny, tiny. So, it's totally understandable to me that not everyone has money to purchase $300 worth of new books from year to year, especially if they haven't gotten a job in medical coding yet. But, the risk of you not passing the exam because you missed a code, but you might also beat yourself up if you don't purchase those new books and then you don't pass the exam. And then you're like, oh my God, it was, because I didn't have those new books. But you also might have a ton of highlighting and notes and stuff that you're like, oh my God, it's going to take me 20 hours to transfer all of my highlights and notes over. So it is a personal decision to make if you want to purchase new books for next year for the exam. Or you could just use the ebooks. When you redeem your exam voucher, you have two options. Option one is, hey, I've got my own physical print books and I know I'm going to bring them and they're going to be, correctly marked up. I'm not going to have things in there that I shouldn't have, they're going to be the right editions, that they're going to be the right years, and I will take responsibility for bringing the correct books. Option two is you use ebooks, and then the AAPC will embed the ebooks in the exam platform for you to use. Some of the problems I've heard though with the ebooks that people have had is some people have said that their testing center that they've maybe gone to had smaller monitors. So having to read the text on the ebooks, it was very, very small. I've had a couple of people say that there may have been some lag, that when they were using the ebooks and they were searching things, maybe the internet connection wasn't as great and it was taking a little while for it to load. But you do have, a search bar then to use in the ebooks that you can search, hyperlipidemia, and it'll click up and go, here's the hyperlipidemia. Oh yeah, click, and then there's the code. So, can you bring a medical dictionary to any exam? Can you have any combination of physical and ebook? So you cannot use a combination of physical books and ebooks. You have to select one or the other. If you opt to bring your physical paper books, the ebooks will not be embedded in your exam, and vice versa. If you opt to use the ebooks, you cannot also bring your print books. I can tell you with certainty of that because I took a exam within the past year and brought my physical books, and when I logged in, the ebooks were not there. I think that they might actually have two settings of the versions of the platform. So that's why when you bring physical books, like, your ebooks are not automatically in there. So you have one or the other. You can't use both. As far as can you bring a medical dictionary, you are not permitted to bring a medical dictionary. The only things you are allowed to bring to your exam are your ICD-10-CM book, CPT and HCPCS book for your CPC exam, and your photo ID. And if you're taking it remote live proctor, you can bring a water bottle that's clear and you can put liquids in it, or clear liquids, water essentially in it. As far as, let me go over something real quick. See if I can find the breakdown that they give you. So when you schedule your exam, they do give you all the information about what is and isn't allowed for your exam. So let's see if I can find, because they've changed it a few times. And I know sometimes there's old links circulating. Okay, here we go. So there is a checklist of what is, I don't know what that is. Okay. Pages, let's see that. Okay, there we go. Of what are prohibited items for the examination and what you are and are not allowed to bring. So you're not allowed to bring pens, pencils, phones, headphones, paper, etc. And then they do give a breakdown on this of different certification exam and what books are permitted. So for example, it says CPC, you're allowed book references 1, 2, and 4. When we look at the list here of the different references that are allowed, references 1, 2, and 4 are, oh my God, where did they switch the list to? Oh, there it is. 1 is CPT, 2 is ICD-10-CM, and 4 is HCPCS. I don't believe they allow a medical dictionary for any of them because it's not listed in any of the allowed references. But there are other exams maybe where you have to bring a PCS book or you're allowed to bring anatomical charts. Anatomical charts is number 7, so you're allowed to bring that probably for the vascular, for cardiology and cardiovascular thoracic specialty certifications. And there are some certifications where you're not allowed to bring any books or any references. For example, the CPCO, Certified Professional Compliance Officer, there is nothing indicated here, so you're not allowed to bring any books for that. Let me hop over real quick to my Instagram people and see if I have anything new coming. Oh, I didn't scroll down. Can I take a wristwatch and a water bottle? Anything that is an electronic device that has an on-off switch is not allowed in the exam room. So if it's like an analog watch, it's probably going to be okay. But if it's any kind of smartwatch or anything that could transmit any kind of data or has an on-off switch, it would not be permitted. Water bottles, there's a difference between if you're taking it at an exam center or if you're taking it via a remote live proctor. So if you're taking it at home, like I'm sitting at my desk, I'm taking it remotely, right? And someone's watching me on webcam and proctoring that way. You are allowed to bring a clear water bottle or clear cup to the extent that, one second. To the extent that, for example, if I'm taking it remotely and I have my books and stuff and I've got my whole setup and I have a water bottle, you can have either a clear cup of water or a clear water bottle, and you have to remove any labels. It has to be completely unobstructed. So that is allowed for the remote live proctor. If you're taking at an exam center, you are not permitted to take any water bottles or anything other than your books and your ID into the center. What I mean by that, though, is I'm trying to make a good comparison. So a lot of times at the testing centers, they'll have almost like a vestibule, like a check-in area. And that check-in area has lockers or something where you can store away your things. So if you need to stash away your phone, stash away water bottle, cough drops, nasal spray, either whatever you want to bring with you, you can stash that away in that like vestibule check-in area. And then there's the exam center, which is separate from that, which is where they keep all the computers. Obviously, they don't want people there with food and drinks. So you sit down at your computer station, you will not have your water with you. If you need a drink, you need a cough drop, what you can do then is just exit that exam room, go into that little vestibule or check-in area, open up your locker, get out your beverage, get out your cough drop, whatever, and then you can have your drink or what have you. If you need to take an ibuprofen or something, then you can have that, and then they'll go, and then you can go back into the exam room. I know with one of my exams, they had a metal detector wand. So after I had my drink or whatever, or went to the bathroom, then they kind of, zip check to make sure that I didn't pick up something that I shouldn't have, and check me back into the room. So one of the comments here says no references is scary. Oh my God. So the only certifications where you're not allowed references are ones where I don't want to say you wouldn't need them, but they're not coding related. So you wouldn't need to look up a code or a book. It's something where you are have to show your demonstration of a policy or what have you. Like it would be like if you're sitting for your licensing boards for nursing, they don't allow you to have references. So yeah, the ones where you don't have to look up codes and things, some of those certifications you don't need references for. So the CPT book is not needed for the exam. It depends on what exam you're taking. If you're taking the CPC exam, you would need a CPT book, an ICD-10-CM book, and a HCPCS book. If you're taking the CPCO exam, which is the compliance officer exam, then you don't get any books. What if you need a certain accommodation? Who do you reach out to? The AAPC. Go into Google, and in Google type AAPC ADA accommodation, and they will link you to a form. You have to be approved for your accommodation. So you're going to need to prove, why you feel you need the accommodation and what accommodations you want. Because some things they might be able to accommodate. Some people, if they have certain qualifying medical conditions, they might get a little extra time, or they may be able to bring a magnifying glass, or have a certain medical device with them. I've known, I've heard of stories of people where the examinee maybe had a listening device because they had a certain condition or what have you, or a reader. So yeah, just go into Google, type in AAPC ADA accommodation, or just AAPC ADA, and there will be a form and information about how you can submit for any accommodation requests. Do you think it's possible to pass the CPC exam by going through the books just for 2 to 3 months? You have to have a textbook. The code books themselves aren't really good at teaching you coding. You would need some sort of textbook or an online training. It's a tough exam, so it's not something that you could train in for a couple of months and just go through the books and I think have a good chance at passing. Maybe if you have some prior healthcare experience, possibly, but I wouldn't say so for someone who's brand new to medical coding. All right, I am going to sign off from the live stream here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. One last time, I am having a live stream special for sales. So I'm going to flash that code. TikTok, Hangout, because I'm going to hang out with you guys for a little bit because I like TikTok. So yeah, if you need a discount on the CPC review or even the CRC review, you can use this code up here for a discount. I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, just keep on coding on.